we encourage our owners to come and stay. Short amount of time.
Of course.
But to come and stay and just to live in the apartment and see it how a guest would see it.
Syd Douglas here from Ras360 Property Solutions. Today on the Brokers Boardroom, got a very special treat for you. I'm going to take you through Markham Court, which is a very successful operation by a husband and wife team. Understandably, management rights can be a very daunting prospect for those entering the industry for the first time. Today, on the Brokers Boardroom, I'm going to take you in, hear what they have to say about not only their business, but the industry in general. How are you, Graham?
G'day, Syd.
Good to meet you. Kirsty, how are you? Good to see you again. Well, guys, thank you for your time today. It's really good to be on site here at Markham Court. Obviously, you have a really good operation here, and I'm very intrigued to hear a bit about your story and how you got into management rights. And for the purposes of the Brokers Boardroom, we'd love to hear all those little 1%ers or your tips and tricks to make it such a good business.
Absolutely. So we started our journey in 3 years next week.
Wow.
In management rights. It feels sometimes like 10 years.
Yeah.
And some days like we've just started.
Great.
So 3 years it's been now, and it's been a fantastic journey. Something that we don't regret.
Fantastic.
So this is our first management rights. And previously we were in education.
Yeah.
And we come to the end of our journey in education and we're looking for another option. This at Markham Court was something that was really caught our interest because we saw such opportunities to grow here.
So for people coming into the industry for the first time, how did you hear about management rights?
Through our experience, but basically here with Markham and our knowledge of the complex.
We talked about it for 30 years though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And
We
so
talked about this is something we wanted to do, and we never thought that we'd have the opportunity or that we'd be in a position that we could.
yeah. And living 2 streets back from the beach doesn't help either.
So you've got a very nice tan there. I like that. You wouldn't get that in Victoria, right? So, guys, obviously there's the honeymoon period. You get in, you have a good time. After what period did you think, oh, we have made the right decision, or we feel like this is the right industry for us?
Well, for us, this particular complex was a bit of a red flag. It was not managed well previously, and so we knew there were going to be challenges.
Yeah.
So for us, it wasn't a honeymoon period immediately.
Yeah.
It took a good 6 months
Wow.
of us working really, really hard, but we knew that coming in.
Yeah.
There weren't any surprises for us. We knew that it was going to be a difficult journey to start turning this business around.
And it was, I suppose, balancing that natural risk of going out of one really well-known industry and going into another industry, which for us took a bit of a leap of faith.
Yeah.
But it was also something where we knew we had to really roll our sleeves up and work hard.
Yeah.
And we're prepared for that. So we had contingencies in place. I was teaching for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
And Kirsty was here at the complex for the majority of the day. Then I'd come from teaching back to the complex and help Kirsty with whatever needed to occur, as well as then recondition all of the outside.
So we had that backup to start with.
Exactly. So we had to hedge our bets a little bit.
Yeah.
But then we knew quickly that we were starting to step in the right direction.
Yeah. Embarking on a career in a joint marriage partnership, living on site has its challenges, right? What's probably been the biggest challenge for you guys coming here, packing up your lives, settling down here and making this a career? What's been the biggest challenge for you guys?
I think first and foremost, understanding the industry and the way that it works.
Yes.
Another challenge too is getting really, really good critical partnerships. And so for us, establishing those and recognizing when people were really, really genuine in helping us, and also recognizing on the flip side when they weren't genuine in helping us, and managing through that was a really, really challenging part of the first 6 months in particular.
Yeah.
We now have got an incredible partnership with so many of the people that work and help us in our business. And I suppose if there's anything to be learned from that, it's if you're coming in, really have your eyes and ears really wide open for those partnerships.
Surrounding yourself with the right people is key in any career, especially in life in general. But management might, I feel, probably more so, is you can probably feel a little bit isolated, right?
Absolutely, yes, because you're working so much in your business.
Yeah.
For us personally, you are working together and living together.
Yeah.
So there can be some challenges there.
Yeah.
So you have to be mindful of having your own time as well.
So guys, I'm intrigued. How do a husband and wife team make a successful transition into this world of management rights? And maybe talk us a bit about your respective days.
Okay, so we split our roles. That's not to say that we can't do each other's roles, but we do have split roles. So in the morning, we'll be up early. I will start by walking around the perimeter. Graham will do the same. And then we will prepare for the day. So I'll be down in the housekeeper's room, preparing for our housekeepers to arrive, preparing all of their cleaning products, that sort of thing. And then we'll head back into the office. I'll check the emails to make sure that there hasn't been any last minute bookings, anything serious that needs to be attended to. And then you're in the yard, really, aren't you, in the garden?
Yeah, it's basically preparing the complex every single day as if you were to walk through it and to cast a critical eye.
So you position yourself in the view of a guest, but an owner at the same time, right?
Exactly.
You're a business operator. You want the best foot forward at all times. So we've heard a bit about how you obviously run the internal administration, Kirsty, and the inner workings. Talk us through a bit about your day, Graham, and how you make this place look and feel so warm and welcoming.
I think the lens we put over it first and foremost is that this is our home, Syd, and it's a place that we like to invite people to. It's also a place that people also call their home as well, and that provides us a great responsibility, and that responsibility really lies with making sure that if they wanted to go to the pool or go to the barbecue area or just sit under one of the trees in one of the quieter spaces in our garden, that they feel really comfortable and really, really happy. And in that, it's something that provides us a great deal of joy and a great deal of pride to do that. Yeah. And so every single day, what we're trying to do is create that environment and that feel for everyone that comes on. And
I guess the reward is the repeat business. They come back and say, we don't want to stay anywhere else. We're staying here. And obviously the owners, they're supporting you at any committee meeting or, around the place and saying what a wonderful job you're doing.
Yeah, this is a little haven. Like Broadbeach is busy. Yeah. It's really busy. And for them to step on, whether they're guests or residents, for them to step into a little haven that kind of gets out a little bit the hustle and bustle is something that is quite unique for us and we try to preserve. So
on any given day, there's a lot that could potentially go wrong, and it's important that when you're casting your eyes on the asset, that you have a bit of a record or an understanding of what needs to be done and when. How do you guys work so seamlessly in record keeping and making those job notes and working together to get those jobs done?
Sure. Well, for us, there's just the two of us that are here on site. And in addition, we have a housekeeping team for our holiday lets. Yeah. But for us, we didn't need a big program. There's wonderful programs out there. All we use, a little trusty phone, and we use a WhatsApp. Right. So we have our maintenance WhatsApp. Yep. And then as we're both walking through the complex, I might see something that needs attention. Yep. For example, this morning I saw some yuccas out the front that needed trimming. So I popped a little note in there, yuccas on Australia Ave. Yeah. Graham will see that and then he'll be able to plan.
Fantastic.
The reason we keep it all recorded, I think, especially in writing, is really important so that we just had an AGM. So we were able to go back and see, you forget things.
Yeah.
So see exactly what we'd done and put that in a report for our committee.
You've got that record, that line in the sand moment. We've done our part, we've communicated it, right? Yeah, okay. And how do you get through with a lot of gardens and a lot of things that need to be done? Graham, what works best for you?
There'll be parts of like fair sections of the day that I won't see Kirsty face to face. Yeah. And so that electronic communication is really important to say, okay, this job's done, moving on to the next one. Yeah. Because we're coordinating our jobs with our cleaning staff, with plumbers, with other trades that are coming on site.
Our family.
Yeah.
And our family.
Picking the kids up from
that's
school.
right.
That's an important part.
And so it's important that even though we might not see each other for a period of time, we still have that communication and understand how we're running through the course of our day.
Sure. And obviously that works well for you guys, but then how do the community or the committee report to you? And if they notice something, how do they
the same, that they will see us as we're walking through. We live on site, so we'll see our residents daily. We'll see them in the car park, in the gardens, and we see them down the shops. So they'll talk to us, and we have a wonderful relationship with our residents. Or they'll send us a message.
Of the things that we are really proud of in our business, it's our relationship with our body corporate, our committee, that is absolutely fantastic. The president of our committee lives here on site, and he will come down to the office just about every day.
Yeah. Walks through to pick up the mail.
Yeah. Walks through, has a conversation. We have other committee members do exactly the same thing. It's not unusual to see our committee members walking through with a palm frond in their hand and walking through.
Such as
the relationship that we have, and having that communication between, particularly the head of our committee, as well as Kirsty and myself here on the campus. Or on the complex is
you've gone back into
school teacher. Yeah, gotcha.
On the complex is really, really important.
Yeah. So Graham, a pool, a spa, lounge areas, they don't look this great without a bit of help and a bit of maintenance every day. They don't clean themselves.
Yeah.
Talk us through what you would do on a day-to-day to make sure they sparkle like they do today.
Yeah, so it's a two-step process. First one is getting out of bed, making sure that you're here early before you have to open the area, and you do toilet, general clean, making sure that all spaces and places are swept down and wiped off.
Yeah.
And then I normally, depending on the season and depending on whether there's a storm event or whether there's wind or whatever, I'll just scoop the leaves out of the pool, and then once a week I'll go through and do a full vacuum.
Yeah.
But that might be that we've had a couple of windy days and there's a lot of stuff in the pool. You've got to do it twice a week.
Yeah.
It really is seasonal. It's also dependent upon weather. But really, this is the fulcrum of our outside area. This is the fulcrum.
What about the chemicals and the testing and that kind of stuff? Like, would you do that daily?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So testing is done daily. Chemical top-ups are done daily to make sure that our correct ratios are maintained. And then once a week, we have our professionals come in to make sure that I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
Again, as we were talking previously about our accountability,
Yeah.
we make sure that in something as critical as this, we make sure that the water quality is kept just perfect.
Perfect. And no doubt you'd have a logbook and all that kind of paperwork, which is all fun. Right?
And documentation is
perfect. So if something happens to a pool chair, what's the process? What do you do?
We look at a replacement for our pool chairs.
Yeah.
We've bought really, really good quality.
Yeah.
Pool furniture because, as you can see, it's exposed to the direct sunlight, and the sun beats them like nothing on earth. And we're only 2 streets back from the beach. We're affected by salt as well, but the sun really does.
Yeah.
And so if there's any issues with any damage to the chairs, we replace them.
Yeah.
And our body corporate supports that, which is really good.
And that's very handy. Having a committee and a body corporate that understands by spending a little bit more money, a bit more quality, a bit more easier maintenance process.
Yes.
So it obviously presents really well. It's really robust.
Yeah. No, it's really important to be able to then put that first and foremost the safety of your guests front and center.
Yeah.
Because if you've got faulty equipment, they're at risk, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
And then also the aspect is also great as well.
So talk us a little bit about compliance. A gates or something that from a council perspective. Is that your responsibility, or do you have an external contractor here and come and check the gates every so often?
Yeah, so we are audited each year.
Yeah.
And the council will come and they'll provide us some notice. Yeah. And they provide small, for us, fortunately, they provide just small examples of where we might make improvements. Yeah. Fortunately, we've been able to fly through all of our audits, no problems at all, because we were able to externally provide some advice to us in terms of how we could actually have this area function in a way that's actually going to be able to pass the audit.
Perfect.
So again, it's about maintaining those relationships and making sure that those people that come and work for you are doing the best thing they can for you so that you can be compliant.
So running a holiday complex, during school holiday periods, there are going to be some areas of the scheme that will get used more than others. Maybe the barbecue area. How often would you walk past this kind of area and make sure it's in A1 tip-top condition?
Well, the way that the complex functions, I'm here a lot.
Yeah.
Over the course of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And during school holiday periods, it's breakfast, lunch and dinner. And you need to make sure of two things, whether they are clean or whether they're functioning.
Yeah.
And if either is below standard, you fix it straight away. Look, we try to clean the barbecues once a day, but during those high traffic periods and times, you've just got to be hands on deck.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing with the pool. It's exactly the same thing with general use areas, green spaces where kids might be playing a bit of cricket, playing soccer, whatever it might be. Yeah. You've just got to keep your eyes really on the usage of that space and whether or not it's going to be left well for the next people.
I see, obviously, you've got plenty of signage around and you're sort of prompting people to maybe take a bit of pride and care in what they use.
Yeah.
But it just shows the value of an on-site manager being the eyes and ears of the community, making sure it's always presented well and always a seamless product, right?
Well, to be really fair, signage is great, but speaking to people is far more effective. Look, we have a list of I suppose, responsibilities of the guests when they check in, they sign.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's really easy for them just to kind of put it in their back pocket and forget about it. If we come down, we're having a conversation, someone's smoking in the barbecue area, we can't have that. And it's really very much address the issue, be polite, be kind, and make sure that the guest understands their obligations as a guest, but also trying to maintain and extend the relationship through just that kindness to the guest.
So Graham, I'm always wondered, your gates, you've got gardens, you've got paths, you've got driveways, you've got everything here that requires something, bit of TLC every now and again. Talk us through your day-to-day and what are you looking for to ensure that it's a seamless and this wonderful complex at all times?
Yeah, sure. It's coming from when we wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is come down and unlock the gates of the pool. But then walking onto the extremities is really, really important because the majority of eyes that are at the complex are actually on your complex, not in your complex. And so we make sure that everything on the outside is in really, really good shape, first and foremost. So we've got 2 street frontages that are really have high traffic, and then we have one that's relatively low traffic, but makes no difference. We've still got to go and make sure that everything is in good shape around the perimeter. Inclusive in that is making sure that all of our irrigation systems all work. I do a little test of those really regularly. When we do run the irrigations, we're getting a little bit of rain at the moment, so I can turn them off, turn them on, obviously, of course. But when they are running, we've got to make sure they've got full coverage, so that the grass and all of the aspects is preserved.
Give us an idea of your bin days. What's your job, on a given bin day?
So one of the biggest ones actually is where we're actually standing right at the moment. Where the collection site is here, and so we've got to make sure that this area is kept clear all of the time. Many of our trades will come in. We've got to make sure that they're parked and they're positioned correctly so that their bins aren't obstructed when they're taken away. Making sure that the driveway is clear. Going into the bin spaces and making sure that obviously is really clear too. We've got recycling bins. We've also got our general waste bin. At the moment, we've got a collection process that starts every second day from the beginning of the week. But our recycling, as well as our general waste bins, they fill up quite quickly. So you just got to make sure that they're right. The last thing you want is rodents, bin chickens, all those kind of things getting into your bins. You just got to make sure that they're really kind of looked after. We've got these here, but we've also got at the back of the complex as well. So it's just generally just going past. Are they in good shape? Everything's good.
So as a general guide and the framework for a caretaker or a management rights duo, you'd have your caretaking agreement. You'd sort of understand your duties, your roles, responsibilities on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis.
It's really important.
Really
important. So when we first took over the business, there was a loose agreement in terms of our duties list. One of the first things that we did is we worked with an external consultant to really shore that up, to make sure that our jobs list was really, really clear. Now that helps in a number of ways. It helps the community to make sure that we are accountable. We like to keep ourselves accountable for that as well. And also, when someone at some point way down in the track, when we go to sell the business, and we will at some point, we can then say, this is the requirement of a person coming in to take our position at some point in the distant future.
Talk us through a bit about your office and this war chest of items to make your job as a caretaker seamless.
So it's owned by the body corporate, but anything in here, I've put in here or I've reorganised so that it allows us, if there's an issue that goes on in one of the apartments, say for example, there's a tap that goes bung. Kirsty will get a notification from a guest, and we then have spares here that I can then go and then be able to then replace that straight away. It just saves time, saves effort, and it also keeps the guest really happy as well. Once we replace it, we then go source a new one, bring it back, and then replace it within our stocks. Equipment is really, really important. For someone in my role, it's incredibly important because you want to know it works every single time. So we have partnerships with our repair areas and our repair companies that allow us to then make really quick and easy access there, because some you'll ring up and say, sorry, mate, the mower's going to be with me for 8 weeks. And you go, well, I need it literally tomorrow. So you have that relationship. You maintain your equipment. If you maintain your equipment, it looks after you.
Have you consumables like fuels and whippersnipper cord and all that kind of stuff? Is that out of your pocket or the body corporates?
Body corporates. Yeah. So the body. We have again a really, really clear process that we run through, and everything runs off a system that is quite transparent, that is able to be seen really, really clear by our body corporate.
Plant rooms and switchboards and common property power typically wouldn't fall under the caretaker day-to-days. But if something did go wrong, what would be your responsibility to the community?
It depends on what does go wrong. So if it's something light and small, I can deal with that. I'm not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. And I think over the time I've learned where my skills stop and where I need to then call on the skills of a professional. I don't touch anything in here, nothing at all. Except if a trip occurs, I can come down and I can basically just run it across and fix a trip. However, if it continues to trip, get your hands off it and call the professionals in. Water is something that is a critical part of our complex, in our pools, coming through our taps, but also the way water flows across and underneath and through our complex is also something that I really need to consider. I'm not a plumber. I'm not an expert in the way in which pumps and water flows in and out, but I am able to then recognise when there is an issue. If there is an issue, I can address the issue, and if need be, we then again rely on our critical partnerships with our plumbing companies to be able to then solve that issue as soon as it occurs. Syd, thanks for coming in today, mate.
Thank you.
I wish that we would have had something like this when we started 3 years ago. It would have been very, very helpful, really helpful.
Well, it's been great insight. I've really appreciated my time spending on site in the trenches at Markham Court.
No worries at all, mate. I'll leave you in the capable hands of Kirsty, mate.
Fantastic.
All the best.
Take care. All right, Kirsty, so let's talk about why people are really here for. They're here to stay and enjoy beautiful Broadbeach at Markham Court. What's your role before, doing your checks and balances before a guest arrives?
Okay, so we've got a guest coming in today. So I would go into the apartment. So we'll pop into this one here and just open it up to prepare the apartment. So when a guest comes in, you just want to add a few little touches, put some lights on, just double check that the housekeepers have done an amazing job, which is really important. And for this particular apartment, our housekeepers actually sent me a message to say they forgot to put coffee out.
So Kirsty, you've given us a bit of insight into what you do prior to a guest arriving. Let's sort of look at what you would be talking to an owner about. Obviously, they would be spending money from time to time. How does that transcend into guest satisfaction, ADRs, all that kind of stuff? And how do you convince an owner to spend money on their unit?
Oh, that can be one of the trickiest. And I think because you're looking after their investment, I think it's really important if owners can actually visit the site and actually be here. And we're lucky our owners do come to stay with us. When we first started in this business, we were told not to encourage that. We encourage our owners to come and stay. Short amount of time.
Of course.
But to come and stay and just to live in the apartment and see it how a guest would see it. But any maintenance, anything that needs to be done, we have really good relationships with our owners. So we can just have a chat to them. We keep them up to date with everything, even if it's really tiny, like tightening a towel rail in a bathroom. We'll let them know. We wouldn't charge them for that. We let them know that we did it. So they're seeing that we are looking after
the value adds. Perfect.
Absolutely.
And then I think from the flip side, you've got an owner that spends money on the unit and you've got an owner that doesn't. How do you then mitigate and paint a picture for that owner to sort of say, listen, if we spend a little bit of money, this is what we can achieve?
So returns.
Right.
It comes down to the bottom line for everyone, I think. So it's about what return. So in our complex, we range from 3 to 4 star apartments and the price varies. Working with companies like Ras360 and Switch, where they can prepare for us a return forecast for the owner.
So at the very heart of the business, you've got an office space,
Yes.
you've got a computer,
Yes.
you've got a phone that never stops ringing, you've got, a booking system, you've got diaries and post-it notes everywhere, you name it. How do you make this a seamless process behind and sitting at this side of the desk?
I think knowing what we are good at and when to outsource and when to get companies in that are experts in what they do. An example of that would be our pricing, our nightly rates. When we first started, we thought we could do this all ourselves. How easy, we just have to change the nightly rate every day. That's not the case at all.
Right.
It can change throughout a day a number of times, and we struggled. So we reached out to Switch, and they were amazing.
Yep, Switch Hotel Solutions?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
A game changer. Chris was fabulous.
Yep.
It took a bit of convincing for us because it was a financial outlay, but the best money we ever spent.
Give us an example as how his services or their services have lifted your business and the productivity.
So within 3 weeks, our occupancy had increased, our ADR had increased. Just fabulous, really. And it was something that we don't have to think about. We can let the experts do it, and Graham and I can do things that we're good at.
And dynamic pricing, what does that mean for you? What does that mean in terms of the workload and the stresses that maybe have taken off your plate?
It's a full-time job to change prices during the day. If there's an event that's announced or are cancelled in Broadbeach, if someone across the road increases their prices or decreases their prices, we can't be over that all the time.
So guys, it's been an absolute pleasure going around Markham Court today. You've given us some great insight into the inner operations of a husband and wife working team. You guys make it look like a seamless process. You've given us some good hints, tips, and 1%ers. So no doubt the viewers today in the Brokers Boardroom will get a lot of value from it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very
Thanks,
good.
Syd.
Thanks, Sid.
Thanks, Graham.
Very much, mate.
Good on you.
Cheers.